Week 14 of the NFL season is here. Today I will talk about my 3 favorite spread picks plus 2 extra leans for Sunday. But before we dive into those, let's recap how last week did because we do this video every single week. Our official picks went 2-1 on those spread picks in that video, and the leans go 2-0. We'll take that. Now, we've already had a great start to week 14 thanks to Thursday Night Football. We had the Rams plus 6.5. We had Van Jefferson's over in receiving yards. We'll take that 2-0 start. Let's keep that momentum going into this week. Now, of course, my parlays and player props are not in this video, but we have a completely separate video that is posted on Saturday evening. It might already be live by the time you're watching this. So if it is already live, it'll be linked at the end of this video, in the pinned comment, and in the description of this video. Definitely go check that out. But speaking of player props, look, PrizePicks is a great offer for you guys right now. They have a free square for Justin Herbert to throw just one. All we need is one passing yard for Mr. Herbert. He's going to get that done on Sunday. So if you want to sign up for PrizePicks, you can take advantage of the free square. But also, if you sign up using code COS, you get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So sign up using our code or the link in the description. Both work. And then you get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Just make sure that code COS is in there. And then you can take advantage of that free square for Mr. Justin Herbert. I'll have how I'm using it in that parlays and player prop video live on Saturday night. No more wasting your time. It's week 14. Let's dive into my first pick. And I'm going to the battle of ex-New York Jet quarterback. Says I'm going to the Seahawks versus the Panthers. And I'm taking the Seahawks minus 3.5, minus 110 on BetMGM. Now, yes, I made a mockery of this because we have Geno Smith versus Sam Darnold. As a Jets fan, these are the two quarterbacks that I've watched as a Jet for some of my young adult life. But we are back into this game, and let's talk about why I like the Seahawks in this one. And I'm going to be honest, Sam Darnold's kind of looking decent. I mean, the Panthers really haven't had any quarterback play really this year, but Sam Darnold's looking all right. But this just feels like a game the Panthers are going to get smoked in. Now, obviously, you could look at last week when you saw the Seahawks sort of struggle against the Rams, only winning by 4 points in that one. But like, the Panthers have really been bad on the road. They're 0-5 straight up. Their last 2 road games, they got smushed by the Bengals by 21 points. They lost by 10 to the Ravens, who really haven't been that great recently. And the Seahawks, they're battling some injuries. We don't know if Kenneth Walker III will play, but I don't think it really matters in this one. I think the Seahawks are the much better team, and this is a must-win game for the Seahawks. You look at their schedule coming up, they got the 49ers and the Chiefs the next 2 weeks. So you're looking at this game, must-have. You got to dominate the Panthers. You got to go out there and play pretty well because those next 2 games are going to be tough. And this is a Seahawks team that at the beginning of the year, no one really knew what to expect from them. People expected them to be pretty bad, but so far into the year, they've been looking pretty solid. And, you know, you look at a Panthers team, they've actually been decent recently, covering in 3 straight games, but they haven't covered 4 straight since 2019. So I don't see them really getting that done. Pete Carroll, also last week, they played against John McVay and the Rams. Surprisingly, Pete Carroll has struggled in his career against Sean McVay. In fact, over the last 8 games, they're 1-7 against the spread against the Rams. But you look at the week after they play the Rams, they've actually been very good. So you see a little bit of bounce back. They don't cover 1 week, they cover the next week. And the Seahawks, 14-8-2 against the spread the week after playing the Rams. That's a stat thanks to Action Network. I appreciate them for putting that out there. But sign me up. I think this team is going to come out here and play pretty well. The Seattle Seahawks are a very good team. A lot of people are surprised, including myself, that they've been so good this season. Also, worth noting, Sam Darnold has been played in Seattle, I believe, once in his career. At least the last time he was there, he lost 40-3. Now, I'm not expecting him to lose by 37 points, but I will not complain. I'll take the Seahawks minus 3.5 points. I think that's way too many. I think they could easily win this game by 10 points. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Let's keep moving to my second pick, though. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns plus 5.5. My only underdog pick of this week. That's a spoiler. My next pick will not be an underdog. But let's talk about the Browns, as this is minus 107 on PointsBet. Now, Deshaun Watson is back, and the Browns are traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. And the Bengals have looked great as of late. But look, Watson in the offense, yeah, you didn't look great last week. Now, granted, Watson had a little bit of rust. It showed, but they didn't really have to do much as the Browns' defense and special teams carried them. I think they had 3 touchdowns. I don't even know if the offense scored a touchdown. But on Sunday, I expect Watson in that offense to get back into a better groove and be able to establish the run against the Bengals' defense. Now, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, like I said, coming off a big-time win against the Chiefs last week. Props to them. They appear to be the Chiefs' kryptonite. But what is the Bengals' kryptonite? The Cleveland Browns. Yeah, you might be saying, what? How are the Cleveland Browns the Bengals' kryptonite? Well, look at this. Joe Burrow, 0-4 straight up against the Cleveland Browns. He's also, you look at the Bengals, they've lost 8 of their last 9 against the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what the Browns got against them, but the Browns have been able to find recipes and ways to beat this Bengals team, and I think the Bengals are going to have a little bit of trouble here. The Browns, I'm not coming out here and saying the Browns win this game. Now, I will tell you, the Bengals or Browns will not be in my moneyline parlay on Saturday night's video, but I just think the Browns have the pass rush to make life tough on Joe Burrow. They got Myles Garrett to go out there. He's a game wrecker. And the Browns have the run game to keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. This Burrow and this Bengals offense want to throw the ball, want to run the score up, but if you got Nick Chubb running, it's going to be tough. And Nick Chubb has had pretty good track record against this Bengals team, 100+ rushing yards in 5 of his last 7. And Deshaun Watson, he's going to be better than he was last week. He's still a very talented QB. We know that. And he's got the talented pass catchers. I think the Bengals defense do a little bit of regression. It's still pretty solid, but I think this game should be more of like a 3.5 spread, not a 5.5. So give me the Browns, the underdog divisional game. Give me a plus 5.5. I know a lot of people might be around with the Bengals, but I think the Browns are the better side to be on. So I'll be taking the Browns plus the 5.5 points. Go get it done. If this is a field goal game, we win this one. So let's move on to my third and final play before we get into my 2 leans. I'm going into another divisional matchup. I'm taking the Eagles -7 as they take on the New York Giants. Now, look, a couple books had this at 7.5, but obviously you'd much prefer the 7 just for the push potential here, because we know a lot of games can end on 7 on that touchdown on the dot. Now, usually I'm not a guy to lay 7 points on a road team in a divisional matchup. That just normally seems like a recipe for failure, but I think this Eagles team is just leaps and bounds better than the Giants. And I think the Giants are an impressive team this year, but we saw last year these teams played last December. The Eagles beat them by 24 points. Now, if that game was in Philadelphia, the Giants are going to come out here in MetLife, play pretty tough, but Giants coming off a tie at home versus the Commanders. And you could say, well, the Commanders beat the Eagles, and yeah, but the Commanders kind of needed everything to go right. The Eagles kind of shot themselves in the feet in that game, and the Eagles just have been really dominant this year. They're coming off a 25-point win against the Tennessee Titans, a very solid team, and I just think they're the much better all-around team. They got the better offensive and defensive line, and they got the better weapons on both sides of the field and a much better secondary. I mean, the Eagles are 11-1 for a reason. They're obviously not trash. They're good. And they've won 8 of those games by 7+ points, at least covering this line, or at least pushing the line. And the Giants, yeah, they're 7-4-1, but their luck is starting to catch up to them. I mean, the last 5 weeks, they're 1-3-1. They've lost games by 8, 13, and 14 points. So all 3 losses have not covered this line. And look, the Giants have been good as underdogs. I believe the most profitable team this season, 7-1 against the spread to be exact. But I think all good things must come to an end. This Eagles team it's legit, and they're trying to go for a Super Bowl. And I think just the Giants are standing in their way, and I think they're going to steamroll their divisional opponent. I know the Giants have been great. I wouldn't be mad if they kept this close or even won it outright, but I just think the Eagles have too much firepower. You also look at the Giants to have Saquon Barkley now injured. It's just the Giants are rarely going to struggle to put up some points against a very talented Eagles defense. So unless the Giants defense shows up and has a otherworldly type of game, I think the Eagles get this one, at least win by over a touchdown. Give me Jalen Hurts and the road Eagles on the road in MetLife taking down the Giants. I'll lay the 7 points. It's a large number, but I think it's large for a reason. Give me the Eagles minus the 7 points. Now, let's move on to the leans. Now, as always, reminder, leans we do not count towards our official record. So despite them going 2-0 last week, I don't count them towards my record. And in fact, over the last 7 weeks, they're 12-2. So I might save the good picks for the leans. I don't know how it keeps happening, but hey, you can tail them, you can fade them. I'm not going to track them towards the record, win or loss. I still root for them to win because I know some people still tail them. But let's talk about this first one. The Kansas City Chiefs, minus 8.5. Now look, the Broncos, it couldn't be me betting on them. Every time I say, you know what, the Broncos are like public, no one's betting on the Broncos. They're like 85% on the other side. And the books just say, well, you know what, we can't help it. The Broncos are so bad. And look, now they're missing Cortland Sutton too, and this is a Chiefs offense. It's rolling. I mean, the Broncos, the only thing they got really is their defense to kind of keep them in this game. And honestly, on an unrelated note, who's to blame for the Broncos being this bad? I mean, is it Nathaniel Hackett? Is it Russell Wilson? Combination of the both? I mean, someone asked me that yesterday. They were like, why are the Broncos so bad? And it's honestly a puzzling question, because this was a team we all expected to be pretty decent this year, and they've just been terrible. So you can go for the under. I think the unders are 11-1 in their game so far, but I think the Chiefs are the safer side to pit. I think they could easily win this game by 10 points. They go win it by 30. Like, the Broncos are so bad. Their offense has just been absolutely abysmal, and I think the Chiefs are going to come in here and roll, especially off a loss to the Bengals. Look, you can bet on the Broncos. It's just a lean. I'm not going to have any money tied on this one. Maybe I'll do a same game parlay or something, but the Broncos has just been brutal. So I'd lean the Chiefs in that one, minus 8.5. Now, the second lean of this video is going to be the 49ers and Buccaneers, and I lean the under 37.5 points. Now, the 49ers are 3.5-point favorites. Personally, I think this is more of a field goal game, but like a 20-17 final score goes under this, and honestly, I don't know where points are coming in this game. I mean, it's a low over-under, but like the Buccaneers offense stinks. They managed to score 3 points basically all of the game last week until they made us, to run up 14 in the final 3 minutes. And that's Tom Brady. He can do that, but it's a great 49ers defense. And now they're down Jimmy Garoppolo. So that really is, I don't know where a lot of points are coming in this game. It should be a good game. I'm excited to watch it, but Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, going up against Tom Brady. I mean, the narrative's right itself. You have a guy that was drafted the last overall pick in the NFL draft versus arguably the best quarterback of all time. It's pretty cool kind of narrative, but I just don't know where the points are coming from. The Buccaneers defense is elite. The 49ers defense is elite. And both these two offenses with, a guy like Brock Purdy, maybe he's able to manufacture some offense against the Buccaneers, but that defense has always been humming. And then you got the 49ers defense, which is legit. And they're going to cause so many problems because they're able to just rush 3 or 4 guys and get pressure against Tom Brady and his offensive line, which really struggles. I mean, you look at all the player props for the Buccaneers, basically all went down 10 or 11 yards, despite them getting closer or hitting the over last week. I don't know. This feels like a really, really ugly game to watch. 20-17 feels like a high-scoring game for this one. Could be like 17-13, 17-10. I don't know. I'm not expecting a lot of points. I lean the under 37.5. It's a low number, but look, these offenses, I don't expect to score a lot of points against some very good, talented defenses. So I lean the under. Hopefully the leans can go 2-0, can move to 14-2 over the last, 8 weeks. We'll see. But those are my 3 picks. We're going with the Eagles minus the 7. We're going with the Bengals plus the 5.5, and we're going with the Seahawks minus 3.5. My 3 picks. Those will be the ones I track towards the record. Parlays and player props will be live Saturday evening. It might already be, if it already is live, boom, it's right here. Reminder about that PrizePicks free square. Go sign up for PrizePicks. Take advantage of the free square for Justin Herbert, and take advantage of the deposit match, 100% deposit match up to $100. Take advantage of that. My name's Austin. Signing out. See you guys back again in the other videos. Peace out.